All I'm going to do tonight for me as the project proponent is just factually present the project that we've submitted. I'm not going to try to sell the project or persuade you of anything. It's just a factual presentation of what we've done. And then we'll get your comments and the process will move forward as Kelly explains it. The project site is 280 acres. It's located on Green Valley Road. You know, Highland View over here, Green Springs Ranch, West Green Springs. And what's that one? Green Springs. Green Springs, yeah, sorry, that all goes around. So that's the location of the project site. This is again the project site from the last one. Here's Green Valley Road. This shows that there are two means of access to this project, two main means that we've identified. The primary access is along Green Valley Road. The property doesn't go to the road, but there's a recorded easement of sufficient width for the road and landscaping and a good entry. The secondary access is up here near Lima Way. This map shows the slopes on the site. And the reason we're walking through slides like this, we'll see a few slides that identify the constraints on the property that guide how it's developed, how the project is designed. The steeper slopes that you see in the green are slopes that we avoid because you can't build on those slopes, and the project is designed around that. Yeah, the green ones, the green ones are 30% or greater. You can sort of see the contours. They're probably 5-foot contour lines. Well, anyway, this site is a relatively flat site. It rises from the road, and then it sort of tables or plateaus this way. And then you can see here, and I'm sure those of you that have been out are familiar overall, this is a ridge that runs across the property like this. So it flows that way towards Highland View from here, and then down and towards Green Valley from there. What you see here are the wetlands that are on the site. Okay, there are 2 ponds that were built in the 40s. There are streams and seeps and wetlands. And these are the oak trees. So when the engineers are looking to design the project, they know they need to worry about the water features and the topography and the wetlands, and in El Dorado County, the oak trees. So the project, as you can see once it lays out, is focused on avoiding these to the extent possible. So in El Dorado County, under the general plan, if you're doing a planned development or a lot or a subdivision with more than 50 units, you need to set aside 30% open space. So in this case, the open space is used to buffer the neighbors. It's used to try and accommodate as many of the oak trees as possible, to disrupt as little of the wetlands as possible. Yeah, and that's about it. The project as proposed, 714 residential units. Taking the overall site, that breaks down to about 2.55 units per acre. 25.3 acres of active and passive parks. So those are parks that would be dedicated to the CSD and would be maintained for the project. And then 84 acres of open space. The 25 includes the park, so it's not, yeah, it does. Yeah. So overall, the 84.1 is 30% of the project site. Yes.
From the nearest point that borders Green Springs Ranch, your buffer area, how many feet is it from the borderline of Green Springs Ranch to the nearest backyard fence? Right. How far is that?
Yeah.
I'm curious about a buffer. A buffer usually means space. It doesn't look like a lot.
Probably about 75 to 100 feet. We can measure it and let you know.
And
there are oak trees and grades there too, so there's more than just a linear foot. There's the topography.
Boy, that's a lot of buffer.
Anyway, we're not going to do questions until the presentation is done.
This is about a buffer too, right down there at the court, right before the open area. That court is 25 feet off my property line. So that's not much of a buffer, in my opinion.
I understand everyone has concerns and opinions, and that's part of this process, is to get them on paper, because written comments, as Kelly will tell you, are what are evaluated in the course of this EIR. So speaking is fine because it gets it out there, but it doesn't get a response in the context of this document. So we'll let Kelly explain that, and we really can't take more questions, because then I'm going to offend the people I don't answer and get caught up in the people I do. So we can talk later. I'm happy to talk at any point after this. Okay. What's that? This is the land use plan, which is sort of the overall concept. Now, the big thing that I think is important from this to understand is the line around it here that you see in the blue is the proposed community region boundary. The existing community region boundary is exactly like this, except it comes up here. Oh wait, that's not, I'm sorry, no. Okay, I'm incorrect. This is the project boundary. So the PD boundary, which is the planned development, these two pieces are part of the project, but are not part of the planned development. And the reason is because this is not going to be developed, it's going to stay as it is. And this doesn't have any relationship in terms of internal circulation or utilization within the project. So these two pieces are excluded from the project.
What is the brown piece?
This is the present home of the Dixon family.
It doesn't look like they will have access someplace else.
They currently have a driveway that comes through here. So that will be to maintain that. And that, yeah. Do you have a community regional slide? I don't remember if you have one. Park and trails. Yeah, okay. The green here that you see represent the parks and the trail system. This is a passive park that includes the larger pond, and it's proposed to have a walking trail around it. This down here is an active park site, which is proposed with a soccer field and related recreational equipment. There's a trail that's proposed to run all the way from down here, all the way up to here, which is a small community park, or a neighborhood park. The trail continues along here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but on this road, there are landscaped edges to the road, and the trail would continue on this road to the west park. This is another neighborhood park. And then it's designed so that the road continues into this open space. So in theory, you can actually do a full circuit by coming around and going onto the roadway here and circle all the way around. So it's designed to be an integrated park system. This park has parking associated with it, because the concept is this is more of a community or regional benefit. It would have the soccer field, and people could come in from outside to play games and to participate at this park. These are designed more for the residents of the project exclusively, although they will be public parks. This is the sewer and water exhibit, which just shows from an engineering standpoint how they're proposing to bring water and sewer into the project. Right now, there are two alternative water lines shown. There's a question of whether it would be desirable to do both of them for a loop system, or one of them being adequate, and that's something that's just under discussion. So it would come down Green Valley Road in this instance. In this instance, it would come out of Serrano and come up and into the project. They're all in here for study in the EIR and for discussion with the EID, but these are the two routes identified. The sewer has been designed and redesigned a number of times as we've been able to gather more information and make changes. It's an iterative process, as is the whole planning process. And so at this point, we've identified what we think is the preferred sewer alternative, because it not only serves the project, but provides additional benefit overall to EID. It would pump, there's a pump station down here, which would pump it up to here through the water, through the existing sewer system in Highland View, down here, where it would be pumped back through. The capacity exists. It's not something that involves tearing up.
Well, let me interject. The reason we're putting this information out there is so that you know what to comment on for the notice of preparation. That's the whole point. We're trying to get written feedback. If we didn't tell you this, you might not know that's an issue for you. So that's just an example.
So that's Folsom Lake.
I have a housekeeping question. What is the current zoning of that property, and what is the long-range planning designation now?
Well, that's not a housekeeping question, but I'll answer
It's describing the, it's
it.
describing.
Does anybody think that's a housekeeping question?
It's
Please answer the question.
certainly.
I think it's in the NOP handout, explains what the existing zoning and general plan are.
Where?
It's in the handout that you either received in the mail or it's here today. It's okay.
Getting it done.
I think it's existing zoning is AE, that's exclusive ag, and the general plan is LDR, that's low density residential in a community region.
I mean, the community region, I mean,
It's the community region on the general plan land use map.
the general plan in 2004 provides that LDR in the community region is essentially a holding zone. And then when an applicant comes forward with a project to be evaluated, you can ask to have the zoning changed to conform with the residential nature of the general plan. And that's what this project is consistent with.
Excuse me, did you say that was low density housing in the current general plan?
Yes.
That is what you said, right? Yeah. Low density housing in the.
Actually, what I said was that the general plan provides that when you bring forward a project to be considered, you may ask for a rezone consistent with the general plan.
That's true across the board, but that specific property was the question. When I
Yeah.
called the county 2 weeks ago, they told me that currently in the general plan 2004 is low density housing.
And the general plan does provide, and you'll be obviously free to comment on this, that in the community region, this is appropriate to bring forward as a project.
Well, the question was the low density residential. I said what the general plan designation was, so that the designation currently on the adopted general plan is low density residential. Now what does that mean?
Thank you.
That means one dwelling unit per 5 acres.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Now the project is asking to change that.
to 2.55 per acre, correct?
So I'm gonna let you all continue.
Well, no,
Okay,
if
you
you
know what,
subtract the open units, you're gonna have a lot
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than 2 per acre.
2.55
2.55 per
Let's get
acre.
through the presentation first, please.
The water sources, is that Folsom Lake? I saw there's like a little.
Folsom Lake's over here.
So what's that? It looks like a little lake up there. What is that?
It's on the
That
existing
previous
pond.
slide. What's up?
It's a pond.
No, I'm looking back at the previous slide. Here's, right up there, you said the water's gonna come from.
Well, to an existing main.
Okay.
It's just
So
connecting
that little lake
into
up
the
there, whatever
system.
that is, doesn't really.
Do you mean this?
Wetland. Oh, yeah.
That's a pond that exists
Okay,
on the
all
site.
right,
That's
thank you.
not a function of the water system for the project.
Why do you want to do this here? You could go down to Pocket Road and build this and nobody would care. We've been here for
The last thing I guess
generations, and now
I
you
should
want to change
explain
it.
with regard to the community region so that people understand is, the project request includes a request to amend the community region boundary. And that, the reason we're doing that, it's not needed for any of the existing proposed development. It's been requested when we were preparing this, that we exclude this property from the community region so that in the future, it could not be subdivided. And for that reason, we requested the change, and the Dixon family agreed to have that done to them. It's a way to set the community region boundary back this way to protect the future of that piece.